All right, we're ready for step 12, which is our fourth and final coat of True Oil. So here's our instrument, and at this point I'm going to steel wool it again, but I'm also looking pretty carefully, very carefully, for any anomalies. The more oil you put on, the more it will point out any issues with the instrument. Also, as I go over it, the steel wool creates a little bit of dust, and that dust will find its way into cracks, crevices, sanding scratches. I'm going over it, as you can see, completely, but I'm not going over it that vigorously. At this point, really, if there's some dust that got trapped into the wet True Oil, I'm taking that off. Looks great. All right, little squirt root. Spread out my cloth. Glove up. Now, I'm going to do all these other instruments after I've done our birth ukulele, but because the birth ukulele is getting its fourth coat, it gets done first. At this point, very little oil goes on and is absorbed. I actually don't see any change between third and fourth coat. I saw an instrument the other day. We were at a show, and a guy showed me an instrument done with True Oil that was really glossy. And to get it that way, you don't want to use steel wool between the coats after the first couple. And you don't wipe it off, you just let it build. But I don't like the way that looks so much. Not my style anyway. You can see I'm going over this in the exact same way I've done every time. The same order. Little bits at a time. Don't let the True Oil dry. Wipe it off. And you can see, if you remember back to that first coat, how wet the rag was. It was charged, fully charged. And now I'm just tipping the bottle over with the rag capping the top and just getting a little bit on it because it just goes so far. The surface is so shiny and smooth. Also, the further you get, well, if I found a problem, I would have to go back a couple steps because I want the oil to be very even. And so you really want to correct the problems early. I know I mentioned that. But you also don't want to create any problems at this coat. The biggest thing you could create would be a swipe or a drop of oil that didn't get wiped off. So you can see I'm rubbing this a little bit more thoroughly and vigorously than I do in the previous coats. I don't know if you can see here, but there's wet oil right along that binding, and that's just from where I wiped it on the side. And it spills, it gets, like as I wipe that way, even here, as I wipe around the binding, I'm sure that some oil is coming off the rag and being collected around the edge of the binding. So I do the same. You've seen me do this before, but again, this time being the fourth coat, I am going to be especially diligent around that edge. It's looking great. Again, you can see me really getting in with that clean rag right into my vulnerable area. I want that fretboard to body joint to look as clean as possible. Alrighty then. Don't know if I can make this work. Oh, I can with my little glove. Never tried that before. Let's see. This is, if I remember which picture I'm taking, 12th. There it is. All right, next up we'll put on the bridge. See you next time.